everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Alumni Breakfast. And welcome to Homecoming and Reunion Weekend for 2018.
I think you need to turn it on.
Is it on?
Speak into it.
This is why Tony makes me start, so that he doesn't have to fiddle with the mic. Welcome to Homecoming 2018, and welcome to the Alumni Breakfast. My name is Rob Zimmerman. I'm the president of the Alumni Council, and I graduated of the class of 1998. And it's great to have you guys here. Welcome back on Country Day. A special welcome to Ted Jones, our special honoree today. Ted, thanks for being here, and thanks for everything you've done for Country Day. You are a credit to your school, and we're very proud of you. I have to say a quick story. Ted's pride in the tribe goes very deep. I was laughing with him just a minute ago. A couple weeks ago over at the golf course, we had our annual end of summer camp out, and the parents and kids camp out in the 10th fairway, and Ted's grandkids were there, and his granddaughters were camping, and we all make signs for our tents. And so, our kids made signs that said Zimmerman or Z. Ted's granddaughters, 2 days into their Country Day education, had a big, bright blue and white sign that said CCD. So, Ted, you have passed on clearly your love of Country Day, and it looks like your legacy is secure for another generation. So thank you for that. And welcome to everybody else. Welcome to all of you who have reunions, anybody in the 8s. I am an 8 actually as well. I'm celebrating my 20th reunion, which I recognize might make some people feel old, but if you want to feel even older, I have a son who just finished playing soccer out there who is also an 8, who is the class of 2028. I'm not sure if I'll be alive to see it, but no, it's a pleasure and an honor to have him here. It's great to walk in every day with my kids, and even though the school's changed a lot since I was here, and probably even more still since some of you were here, it's been fun to see, and it's a good thing. The world has changed, and I want my kids' education to change to adapt to that. So it's been fun to see that. And it's also been fun to see the common threads of the Country Day experience. I still see those same core values and traditions that I remember from my time that are still here with my kids. And if you guys get a chance to take a tour of the school or talk to some of the current students afterwards, I hope you'll pick up on some of those common threads as well, because they're still here after all the years. Even as we make progress, we hold firm to what is most important to us. So I hope you get to see some of that today. So without further ado, let me turn it over to the current steward of our Country Day traditions, the man who has led us so ably the past few years, and we hope for many years to come, hopefully even to 2028. Tony Giacacci, our head of school.
Thank you very much, Rob. I've been very fortunate to spend some time with Rob over the past couple of years. Rob has served the school commendably as a trustee, an alumni council representative, and a parent. And Country Day is incredibly fortunate to benefit from Rob's talent and wisdom. So many thanks, Rob, to you for all you do for your alma mater. Good morning.
Good morning.
You gotta be right up against the mic.
Really, Bill?
Yeah, sorry.
This is a tough crowd.
It's in my genes, I can't help it.
How's that, Bill?
There you go.
Let me just begin my comments again. This is for you, Bill. But thank you. My comments, just thank you so much, Rob, for that introduction. Good morning. I'm Tony Giacacci. I'm speaking close to the mic this morning. And I'm Country Day's 12th head of school. And it's an honor to welcome you today to the proceedings. We always love welcoming members of our tribe back to our beautiful 62-plus acre campus. And at this time, I'd like to give special recognition to the class of 1968, who is celebrating its 50th reunion this weekend. Congratulations. Homecoming festivities are a highlight of the school year. And for me personally, it's a time when I get to hear fascinating stories about life on Given Road during previous decades. It always strikes me that much of what we do today was set in motion years ago by students who embraced the school's motto, Virtutus laus in actione.
What?
Say that 2 times fast. Can you say that, Dr. Jones?
No.
All right. Try it in English. Virtue in action. A little bit easier. For example, in the 60s, Headmaster Herb Davidson reported on the DAM program, known as Daily Aid in Math, a student-to-student tutoring effort to help a lad who was having a rough time with an assignment. Yesterday's DAM has morphed into today's Students Helping Students, a club in which upper school students are paired with lower school students to provide homework help. 50 years ago, Country Day had the Lions Group. Country Day students traveled to Madisonville Junior High to assist middle schoolers who were described, quote, on the ragged edge of their studies, end quote. Today, Country Day upperclassmen host Sunday afternoon tutoring sessions on our campus to help inner city students with their studies. Times have changed, but Country Day's commitment to service is as strong as ever. It is ingrained into the daily lives of our students, thanks to your embrace of virtue in action years ago. This morning we have two presentations. To start the presentations, I would like to welcome Don Weston, class of 1953, to the podium.
Whoa, yay. Uh-oh.
I would like to have the class of 53 come up and join me, please, because this is not my reward for Ted, but our reward. Come on up, guys. All of you, everyone.
Don't believe a word he says.
If you listen to him, you're crazy.
Believe all of it.
We had 15 in our class, graduating class, and 6 have passed away. We have 9 remaining. 8 of them are here, and one couldn't make it because he has a wife that is well in home. But we are all here basically not only to celebrate our 65th reunion, but to honor Ted Jones, who was not only the leader on the field, but the leader of our class, and the glue that has held this class together. And we have held together over the years, primarily because of this gentleman. I want to say that Ted was a superior athlete in school. He is the second one in our class to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. This gentleman over here, Mr. Miller, John Miller, was the first one, and we had 2 really, really fine athletes. Not to say that we didn't have some other ones. I wasn't one of them, but there were a lot. But I can still remember how they played, because I played with them, because everybody played with them in those days. Football, basketball, baseball, and tennis. And Ted was the guiding force, one of them, among all the people that played out there on the field and on the court. So I come today to honor Ted because he is really, truly should be
Deserving.
deserving. I think. Alzheimer's is
It
terrible.
happens to all of us.
But anyway, he's deserving of this award. So anyway, I want to just mention one thing, and I Ted was a fabulous athlete, and is certainly he's deserving to go into the Country Day School Hall of Fame. But many of you don't know that Ted is also a very good athlete in other areas and has done some miraculous things. And one of them he's receiving an award for today, which will put him in another Hall of Fame, and he will be the only one in both Hall of Fames. So without further ado, I would like to present the award. I've been duly authorized by the trustees of this Hall of Fame to give this award to him.
Oh my God.
This is from the Mooseback Riding Hall of Fame. And for those of you who don't know, Ted Jones is the only one in our class, or perhaps in any class, that's ever ridden moose. Wild moose. And so we want to honor him both for getting into the Country Day School Athletic Hall of Fame, but also the Mooseback Riding Hall of Fame. And this says, Mooseback Riding Hall of Fame 2018 honoree, Edwin Weber Teddy Rufus Bissell Joe. And so with that, Ted, congratulations.
I got my photograph riding this moose. This moose and I were very close friends for about 20 seconds. I leaped off the canoe, off the gunnels of the canoe, and landed on its back, and it went down, and I went down, and I went the opposite way, and I thought he was going the opposite way.
But he stayed on long enough to get in the Hall of Fame. Any of you guys want to say anything, because I don't
Rob, put that
Well,
over there. Thank
This
you.
class has been a cohesive group since the 4th grade, and we have all stayed together for all these years. And so I wanted them all to be here to enjoy this and be able to participate in this with me, because it's not me, it's all of us. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ted.
Yes, understood.
Squeeze through.
I was saved.
They held the record for 50 years. Lake Temagami, Ontario. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Don. I didn't realize we were giving Ted 3 awards this morning, so that's fantastic. Does anybody else have any proposed awards for Ted that you would like to put? If you could bring them up and put them on the table, that would be great. But thank you, Don, very much, and thank you to the class of 1953 for coming up and recognizing your classmate. Dr. Jones, I would like to let you know that after our ceremonies today, we do have a plaque for you. We're making 2 plaques. One will be hung in our brand new Leonard Athletic Center, and then one will be for you to take home today. So I'll just give everybody a look at what Ted will be bringing home. So if we could once again congratulate Ted for being inducted into our...
Everybody's clapping, I'm clapping.
Ted, I'll put it right next to the moose.
Good. Oh, that's great.
Well, thank you again, Don. It's been an honor to recognize a graduate who's spent a lifetime putting his head and heart into serving others. Dr. Ted Jones, class of 1953, is a one-man change agent who has made a lasting imprint on organizations and causes throughout the city. And thankfully, Country Day is among the beneficiaries of his generosity, his wisdom, and his boundless energy. There are givers and takers in this world, and Ted's always been a giver. Even as teenagers, Ted's classmates knew that Bones Jones was destined to lead a life of purpose. At Country Day, Ted was always finding ways, both big and small, to improve school life. As captain of the football team, Ted recruited girls from Hillsdale to form a cheerleading squad to energize the home team fans. And they're still out there. We had a great group out there last night, Ted. Legacy lives on. He also lent his considerable vocal talents to the Gamboliers, the school's glee club. Ted's civic-mindedness continued to grow as he progressed in career and life. As surgeon, he was on the cutting edge, advancing surgical practices through the early adoption of robotic techniques to improve patient outcomes. He has been deeply involved building funds and awareness for the Bethesda Foundation and received the Geyser Award for his contributions in advocacy. Excuse me. But perhaps Ted's most notable leadership characteristic is his legendary empathy. In describing Ted, his classmates uniformly shared example of Ted's caring approach to philanthropy. Ted was always the driving force behind organizing aid for any friend in need. He has even spearheaded a fund to honor members of the class of 1953 who have passed away. It's a fund that's actively making a difference today thanks to Ted. In student lingo, putting others first is how Ted rolls. Since caring for others is second nature to Ted, it can go unnoticed, which I'm sure is Ted's preference. But today, Ted, we wish to recognize your manifold contributions to your alma mater and the many others who have benefited from your compassionate leadership. Virtutus laus in actione, virtue in action. I cannot think of a man who better embraces and embodies Country Day's motto than Ted Jones. Ted, on behalf of an extremely grateful Country Day community, it's an honor to present you with this year's Chieftain Award.
There are very few of you here who would recognize this sweater. This sweater was given to all of those who got the letter in football in 1949. And there were 4 of us at freshmen. And it's freshmen that got this sweater. I can still fit into, I can't button it. I can still wear it. Who am I supposed to be looking at? Oh, okay, letters. Well, thank you very much, Tony. I got the name of Bones was from Hawksworth. Save the bones for Edmund Jones, because Teddy don't eat no meat. Yeah, that was a few years ago for that. Well, this is indeed an honor, and I feel quite undeserved, and I'm humbled by this award. As one of the original members of the class of '53, I consider myself fortunate to be in the company of supermen who've made a lasting imprint on me. Without these fellow classmates, I would not be standing here today. Therefore, at the outset, I believe that this Chieftain Award should be jointly given to me and to the great class of 1953. Let me explain. During World War II in 1944 September, the new headmaster, Tony's heard this before, and I've suggested he might be doing the same, knocked on our door down here on Drury Farm Lane and said, "Would your 9-year-old son, Teddy, be interested in going to a new school called the Cincinnati Country Day School?" And I was already enrolled down in Terrace Park, and I was not happy. They were not calling on me, and I had done my studies. And so the opportunity of going to somewhere else was exciting, and I cheered for Country Day. And you know what? I've been cheering ever since. We've had 2 sons that have gone to Country Day, and now 2 granddaughters, which gives me great pleasure. Sally and Dell Zamri, would you please come forward, please? They are extremely excited and describe it as awesome, awesome, of their acceptance into the 2nd and 4th grades. Is that correct? Well, I earned these letters on the athletic field in sometime between 1949 and 1953. And I've saved them for this special occasion to give to one to Dell Zamri, and the other to, is this correctly done? There it is, to Sally Zamri. And so I'm delighted that you guys are at Country Day. pretty old, but they still mean the same thing. Now, let's see, where am I here? Because of the war, there were so few students here that the 3rd and 4th grades were combined. And 5 of us who started in the 4th grade represent, and we were all, the nucleus of the class started together, no place else. We started together. The original building here on this same plot was built in 1926, as you all remember, and as a temporary structure, and 3 years later it was to be a permanent structure, and then the stock market crashed, and so that stopped the building of a new school. So the original structure survived all of our 9 years here at CD. At recess time, in the 4th and 5th grades, we would sneak under the school. True, under the school, by a 3-foot clearance. That was dirt and old pieces of wood, pillars holding up the school. And we built various forts and made detailed maps, which were frequently changed depending on the position of the enemy. So at recess we played tetherball. We did mumbly peg. We brought our knives to school and played mumbly peg. But best of all was Dr. Marvin's firing range, directly underneath the study hall. Needless to say, the students in the study hall above the shooting range had considerable difficulty concentrating. The core value of Country Day School was the faculty. They were our role models and gentlemen. Their title was Master. Their stamp on us was invaluable and permanent. It was for this reason that we, of the class of '53, elected to have a memorial scholarship in honor of deceased members of our class, but dedicated to a deserving faculty member as determined by the headmaster, head of school now. Of note, this particular endowment fund was begun in 1995 by 14 members of our class after the death of Fritz Hyde. It's now worth almost $250,000. A phenomenal thing. And 5 additional members who have passed since then, and memorials have been sent in their names: Bill Depke, Bill Mashburn, Michael Commissar, Punky Boylan, Derek Hotto. Of equal importance for our education was the unheralded and pervasive peer pressure among and between us. This was academic, athletic, theatrical, social. This pushed us to compete and excel. There was one time I was speechless.
Can't wait.
Alaman says he can't believe that. 65 years ago, during the graduation ceremony, hundreds of awards were given out to varied students. It was boring. Even worse, our headmaster listed lower and middle school attendance records. And then he hesitated. This recognition, he said, is for the only person in the entire upper school who never missed one day of school, not just his senior year, but the entire 4 years of high school. And in the meantime, I'm talking to Hallerman and Hawksworth and Wentworth and Weston and Stoff, and I'm not paying any attention. And the headmaster, Herb Davison, then said, This award is for Perfect Attendance Award is given to Edmund Weber Jones. And I went, what? I was totally flubbergasted. And I said, you know, who checks his own attendance? I mean, I had no idea. I was chagrined, I was embarrassed and surprised. I didn't want to be associated with all these little kids that got all their awards. So that was one time, and maybe the only time I've been speechless. Is that right?
Yeah.
For the most part, the class of '53 stuck together without, and even those who went away. Even though several went east to boarding school, they have come back and are considered a part of the class of '53. And they are a defining part of our class today. So according to our masters, Davison, Arms, Yiser, Hoppel, I told you I'd get Hoppel's name in here, Pattison, McDaniel, Buttrick, Brush, Mortimer, Seymour, and Irwin. Who am I missing? Don't know. So here are some firsts. And Tony mentioned a couple of them. During our sophomore year with assistant headmaster Dick Arms, we were the first to organize a singing group called the Gamboliers. I told this to Tony, and he looked it up. He said, what's the definition of Gamboliers? I said, damned if I know. But we were gambling along and singing. So we were the first to have female cheerleaders. I was honored as captain of the team to be able to went to the coach and I said, can we have female cheerleaders? And they said, well, sure. So I picked those 4 girls that you see on the picture out there. I'm sorry they're not up here. But anyway, they were our cheerleaders. And Delzy and Sally, did you see the pictures of the cheerleaders out there? Did you see those pictures? Are you nodding, saying yes? Okay. And let's see. At 15 of us, we were the largest graduating class in CCDS history to that point. The class of '53 has had more distinguished alumni, 3, than anybody else, I think. I could be wrong, but we're the only class to have established its own scholarship foundry, and we encourage other classes to start something akin to this following graduation. It's a great goal, and it's a unifying factor for each class. So pass this on, Paul, Rob, Tony. I know that I'm prejudiced for Country Day since I was a scholarship recipient. I owe deep gratitude for all that was given to me, but I do not accept the title of Chieftain for Ted Jones alone. However, I do accept the honor of Chieftain for the all-time amazing, great class of 1953, which is where this honor truly belongs. Thank you, Tony.
So just so everybody, what I'm going to present to Ted now is a Rookwood commemorative collection piece, CCDS Chieftain Award, Edwin W. Jones, MD, class of 1953. Mr. Hoppel would like to say a word.
I can't resist having heard those faculty members' names mentioned. Speak into the mic, Bill. You mentioned the greatest class. I cannot help but remember, I was telling Buck, I can't tell you how many times I heard the class of '53 made a difference in the future of this school. Not only were you the first to graduate that many, it really turned the corner after the war from kids going away to boarding school. And it really made a difference. So I commend you for acknowledging the class. I remember Dad and Pat and Chuck Yiser and Dave McDaniel constantly referring to the fact that we are a day school today because of the class of '53. We were founded as a prep school for boarding school. So,
Yeah.
kudos. on behalf of Chuck, and Pat, and Dave.
Davison.
Yeah, Davis.
That's great. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ted. What a well-deserved honor. If I could ask the student ambassadors, could you all just come up here, up to the front, please? A school is its buildings. A school is its grounds. A school is its curriculum. But really, at the core, a school is the people. The students, the teachers, the administration, and the relationships that are formed. As the head of the school, one of the greatest things that I received as I began to learn about the history and tradition was an introduction to Ted Jones. It might have even been the first week, Ted, I was here in Cincinnati. And as you know, one of the things that really interests me is the history of this institution now that we're in our 93rd year. So this year I spoke about relationships and the importance of, for our students and our faculty and our community today, to weave relationships of significance. And certainly that is what you in the class of 1953 did, Ted. But as you said, Bill, those webs of significance touch even today's Country Day. Now, many of you are visiting us and the structure around you seems very foreign. It looks very different. It feels very different. But I can tell you that the relationships still remain very, very strong. And so in just a moment, we're going to ask our student ambassadors to give anybody who'd like a tour. And in them, you will find what is eternal about Country Day. These are some of our finest students. Sorry, I didn't think I'd be embarrassing you guys today, but I saw you back there and I thought I'd pull you up. But I hope that you'll take a tour with them and ask them about their experiences. And if you're an alum of this school, I think you'll hear echoes of your own experience. Ted, you spoke about teachers, you spoke about friendships, you spoke, Dawn, also about these as well, maybe with some moose thrown in.
One moose.
One moose, fair enough. But what you were talking about are the relationships between individuals, about teachers knowing and nurturing students, and that certainly is the case today. So in just a moment, we're going to have these fine young students here at the back of the room. I know it'll take a little while, but they'll be able to show you where buildings used to be. But I hope that you'll ask them about their experiences here at Country Day and that you might hear some echoes. And the last thing I'll do to embarrass you all, maybe, but just in a loud voice, if you could just introduce yourself and how many years you've been at Country Day. How about that? Yep, and as Mr. Hopper would say, please come up to the mic.
Hello, I'm Peanut Edmondson, and I have been here since kindergarten, so it's probably a long time, but I'm a junior at Cincinnati Country Day.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Nebby Smith. This is my 13th year at Country Day. I started in kindergarten.
Hi, my name is Jack Sullivan. This is my 4th year at Country Day, and I'm a senior this year.
Hi everyone, my name's Mary Harton. I started in pre-K 2, so this is my 14th year.
Oh.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Herschel. I started my freshman year, and I'm a senior this year.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
So welcome back, alumni. You are at Country Day. This is Country Day. Please enjoy the rest of the day. If any of you are still on campus at 2 o'clock, we have a wonderful event going on in Keeler Theater. History teacher Merle Black is going to be talking about his 30 years here at Country Day. If you're leaving, we're going to live stream it on Facebook too, or is it Facebook, Christine? Yes, Facebook. So if you follow us on Facebook and cannot be here at 2 but want to hear Merle's words, you can certainly hear that as well. Yes? Soccer. Thank you, Gordon. There's also an 11 a.m. boys varsity soccer game going on, and I think the 4th grade game finished up. Is that right, Rob? All right, so we won't be able to see that. Thank you all so much for coming this morning. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys. You guys just